This stands for Ichigo. Just say Ichigo.
Ichigo.
And this stands for Ichie. Just say that, Ichie. And what that means is one life, one meeting. It's the most famous of all Japanese proverbs, Ichigo Ichie. And what that really means is that every meeting only happens one time in a lifetime. This meeting never happens again. This meeting only happens one time, not just this meeting, but every meeting. Now, what would happen to the quality of your conversations if you saw every meeting as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make a real difference in the life of that other person, and you played it like that? Let me see by show of hands. How many of you have never seen Mike Lipkin before? Okay, everyone. Other than the folks last night. Not that many people know how well known I am. So here's my message. You may never see me again. Now I hope you do, but you may not. Therefore, based on 90 minutes exposure to me, you're going to have a lifetime opinion of me. And what's really important to me is that there are close to 200 opinion leaders in this room, and you're going to talk about this morning. And either you're going to say, you should hear Lipkin, he's amazing, or you might say, it was okay. Dime a dozen. Right? So I got 90 minutes here that's going to influence the rest of my life, and more importantly for me this morning, could influence the rest of your life. Because I got a confession to make. I should have said this at the start of today. I am not giving you this talk for the money. I'm going to take your money. I'm giving you this talk because there's nothing in the world I'd rather be doing right now than sharing my thoughts with you right here. Right? I mean, really, when I came into this world 50 years ago, I came into this world with one mission, to be here this morning. That was my mission, man. This is a moment of destiny. Can you feel it? Or is it just me? I'm serious. You can't deny that truth. I was born, and here I am. Whenever you came into this world, you were born, here you are. Now, what would happen? What would happen if you saw every conversation as a defining moment in your life? By the way, has that ever happened? Have you ever had a meeting with someone, and that was like a defining moment? Like you married that person? Right? Or that person became your coach? Or that person gave you an insight that changed everything? So you want to make every meeting like that. Now, it's not exhausting because it becomes a way of life. So let me demonstrate the 8 characteristics of the preeminent conversation. And by the way, I'm going to leave this presentation with Laura. So for those of you who want what's on the slide, you know, that you can just access. But if you want to take notes, you're welcome. So a preeminent conversation is an exchange of thoughts, feelings, insights, views, and distinctions that expands the capacity of one to produce remarkable results. So when you have a great conversation with someone, you expand their capacity to be great. And I'm going to throw out a challenge to every salesperson here, every sales associate here. The next conversation you have with a guest, give them something that enriches their entire life way beyond the sofa or the bed that they might be investing in. What kind of insight can you give them that when they leave the store, they've got something that transcends whatever they can touch, feel, or sit on? Number 2, it's a dialogue between people that transforms them. Already, in the half hour or so that I've been up here, you are not the same person that you were half an hour ago. Something is starting to move inside your head. Something is beginning to build. So let me give you a beautiful story, the reason why I'm here. I'm here because about 5.5 years ago, a seed was planted with the woman who's now Kim's wife. Right? Donna was working for a company in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, that was in the dental supply business. And I gave them a talk, and she was at the back of the room, and she loved the talk. And after the talk, she came up to me and she said, thank you very much, that was a fantastic talk. She said, I'm about to get married to Kim Yost, who's at the time was heading up the Brick, a big Canadian retailer. And she said, I'm going to give him your CD and your books, and because I think he should bring him into the Brick. Now, round about that time, you know, Kim obviously had a lot on his mind, and he was contemplating the move across here and all of that, and so nothing happened. And I followed up with Kim, man. Like, I'm a Mr. Champion follow-upper. But there's a difference between following up and harassing. Seriously. At some point in time you go, this dog don't hunt. How wrong was I? So last November, I get the call from Gary Duncan. Says, look, we want to bring you in. You know, Kim's been listening to your CDs and your books. You know, Donna says she likes you. And by the way, you want to get through to a guy, make sure his wife likes you. Ultimately. Because I don't know about you, but before I make a decision, I ask my wife. And sometimes she says, I don't know. Well, I say, what do you mean you don't know? She says, his eyes are too far apart. Or she says, there's something about it. So what are you talking about? But the next time I see him, I go, whoa. Now I see it, right? So here I am, because 5.5 years ago, I did a good talk, and someone in the audience was there. And now this is the beginning of a whole new set of possibilities. Every guest that you and I meet is that kind of person. You know, there's another very famous Japanese proverb, and it goes like this: chance encounters are what keep us going. Or it's that person who you just met that happened to be just the right person, just the right guest, that could create anything. And you want to treat everybody like that. Number 3, it's an experience that leaves one feeling energized and excited. So have you noticed when you have a good conversation with someone, you leave and you feel energized? You know, I'm feeling like really energized here, based on the second day that I've spent with this extraordinary community. So the question you want to ask yourself is, when someone's had a conversation with me, how do they feel about themselves? Not how do they feel about me. Because your job and my job is not to impress people with who we are. We want to be the kind of person that when somebody else has engaged with us, they feel more energized in these times of anxiety and overwhelm and fatigue. Right? Number 4, it's got to be a source for knowledge. And that's why I will tell you that if you don't have the knowledge, then you're wasting somebody else's time, unless it's a leisure activity. Right? So if you're watching the Super Bowl with your friends and your family, you don't have to have the knowledge. You could invite me to your house. I could be a valuable part of that party. But my role in your house that afternoon would not be to give you knowledge. It would be just to eat your junk food. Right? Okay, number 5. It's the beginning of the next extraordinary possibility. Everything is a deposit on what could happen next. You want to see every conversation as a deposit in your future account. Now, how many of you in this room want to be wealthy? Okay, great. You know, like in China now, they say it's glorious to be rich. So here's Lipkin's fundamental law of prosperity. Are you ready for this? Okay. All prosperity is a direct reciprocation for the contribution that you've made to others. All prosperity is a direct reciprocation of the contribution that you've made to others. So I made a contribution to Donna, something I said, you know, just expanded her world. She then paid it forward. Here I am. So when I say pay it forward, I'm not telling you to be a good Samaritan. One of the most selfish things you can do is to give as much as you can. Like, I give, and I might give for the wrong reasons. I don't give because the good book says I should give. I give because I know if I don't give, I'm going to lose it. You know, it's like energy. You can't hoard energy. If you've got a lake and there's no river running into the lake and there's no river running out of the lake, what happens to the water in the lake? It stagnates. Everything's got to be in motion.